Welcome, Las Vegas. I am super excited to be teaching you at this conference. As you know, I'm Paul, better known as Super Trades. You followed me or you've seen me for years, and you've seen what I'm capable of doing. The king of swing, the man who finds momentum before it happens. And I'm not just excited to be here teaching you in Las Vegas. I'm announcing that I'm going to select a few of you to work very closely with me to become my protege, to become a Super Trader protege. But you know what? Just like my boot camp, not everyone's going to be accepted. Not everybody who applies is going to be accepted. But just like my boot camp, where there's been endless success stories about people who have taken my strategy and are up tens and hundreds of thousands in verified profits in 2014, the year of the boot camp, I am so confident that I'm going to honestly, I'm going to eclipse anything I've ever done, because my goal is to make proteges, Super Trader proteges. And so I am going to pour myself into this project unlike I have ever put effort into anything, and I think I'm going to eclipse anything I've ever done as a Super Trader. I have one goal, and one goal only, and that's to make the Super Trader proteges financially independent. Yes, just like me, I've become financially independent, and that is my goal. And you know what? Whatever that means to you. Does that mean working for yourself? Does that mean that car that you want? Does that mean that house you want? I am driven by the success that I've already had this year, that I've already seen in other students becoming financially independent or well on their way. And then I'm so inspired by how my life has been transformed by this strategy. I am driven to make as many people as possible financially independent. And as I've said, 2014 has been a super year. I have verified over $1 million in net profits. Heck, I made over $300,000 just this month. Better than that, I made over $100,000 on a 3-hour plane ride as I flew myself and my friends on vacation on Labor Day weekend. And I'm telling you what, I brought my whole team here because I want to give you the opportunity to work with me, to become a Super Trader protege. But just like the boot camp, I can't and I won't work with just anyone. So, if you want to be my protege, I need you to get up when the time is right, when the time is announced, and go over and talk with my team, because I can tell you this, I get requests every day, tons of emails about wanting to work with me, but I physically can't work with everybody, but I'm driven to work with the chosen ones that meet the criteria, that have the character, that have the drive to become financially independent. So when the time comes during this conference, and I will tell you when that time is, you need to go see my team and reserve your spot. Don't delay, don't wait, because, like I said, I am not going to work with everyone. How are we all doing today? I don't know if even Tim noticed, but he came out to a Michael Jackson song. Don't stop till you get enough, right? But I thought that was that's pretty fitting for Tim, because he is an inspiring, driven individual that doesn't want you to stop until you get enough, until you achieve your goals. And I'm thankful to be part of the Profitly family. I'm thankful to be a business partner with Tim. He's an inspiring individual, and he's done a great job in helping so many of you. My name is Paul, better known as Superman at times, Super Trades, whatever you want to call me. I'm originally from the East Coast, and my background, as many of you know by now, is in corporate finance. I was an accounting major, I was a CPA, and I worked my way up the corporate ladder in corporate finance, from staff accountant to eventually a controller and a CFO. And I excelled. My last year as a CFO, I was nominated for CFO of the Year in the state that I lived in, and that was a pretty prestigious nomination at the time. Thank you. I've been trading 17 years since 1997, and yes, I was trading stocks while I excelled at a full-time job. And I'm going to talk to you about that in this presentation, how I did that. So I have 17 years experience, like Tim said, in the stock market. I've been through bull markets, bear markets, all kinds of scenarios, and I consider myself to be a weathered veteran. As of this year, I am now an official contributor to TheStreet.com, which many of you know is owned, that's Jim Cramer's company, and this is not exactly like a Seeking Alpha situation where, you know, it's a lot easier to get an article published. It's just more prestigious, but I've written three or four articles on TheStreet.com, and I was also mentioned in an article as one of the top 10 traders on Twitter to follow. Just this last week, I was honored to have an article interview about myself published in the Huffington Post. And I love the title. I have to admit, I love the title. Success Advice from Wall Street's Superman. I kind of like that. Wall Street Superman has a nice ring to it, if I may say. Fun fact that some of you know, and those of you that don't, here is a fun fact. Before I finished college, I had a revelation that I was destined to be a movie star. I went to New York and California. I was in a Miller Lite commercial, and that's on the left, me flying through the air as a Miller guy into a Halloween beer party. You can see that middle picture was my headshot. And I want to show you something funny. One of my top students is here. He's 24 years old. He was a boot camp member, and in 2014, he's up over $300,000. I was in my early 20s then. I want you to see this. I want you to see his hair. Matt, will you please stand up? Triforce Trader. Look at that hair. Now, I get it, you know, you want to emulate some of my trading strategies, but I've never seen a guy want to emulate the hairstyle, but hey, it worked back then. On the right, I was on one episode of The Munsters Today. I was Marilyn Munster's boyfriend, picked her up for a date. This is all on YouTube for your your viewing pleasure. My strength and my mantra is to find momentum before it happens. That's what I pride myself in. That's what I'm driven to. And that's what I'm always researching. And what I mean by that is to find stocks that are going to go up before they go up. Get ahead of the next technology curve, get ahead of the next turnaround company, get ahead of the next earnings winner. Secondly, I'm a specialist in earnings and value plays. Some of my most successful trades from there. Theme plays I specialize in, and that could be anything from police body cams, infectious diseases, any kind of new technology wave that's coming around. As Tim mentioned, throughout the years, I've been involved in some of the monster small cap stock movers. And I'll tell you something funny. When you talk about finding momentum before it happens, 1 year ago, a year and a half ago, if many of you remember, I wrote an article on Digital Ally, DGLY. At the time, it was an $8 stock, and it went to 17, and then it came down. But my whole thesis of the article was what took place this year. It was a little bit early, I'd say, but it's still 8 to 17 is not a bad move. But I was writing about what happened to Digital Ally 1 year ago, and then it came to play this year. I have my own brand of charting. Momentum charting is what I call it. My strategy is comprehensive. I go long, I go short. I do stocks, I do options. I'm a little bit more broad-based as far as what works for me personally. And I have something that's very important to me, and the only reason I started teaching is I have discipline rules and trade plans. This was created from many of my mistakes throughout the years, as well as my successes, but I was driven to teach
once Tim challenged me to, because if I can save even a handful of people from having to make a lot of the mistakes that I made and the disastrous mistakes I made at times, then it's worthwhile for me to teach. And I verify my gains and losses on Profitly. And, while I still have some people that are not fans of Superman, since I've been verifying my trades, that population has greatly diminished. So I'm grateful for the Profitly website. Biggest myths about me. Superman only trades low float stocks. Absolute falsehood. I trade stocks of any float. Tend to be more NASDAQ and New York Stock Exchange driven. They do not have to have a low float. Most of the stocks I trade are not low floats. If a stock has a low float, great. I know how to trade them. I'm experienced. But it's a fraction of overall stocks that I trade. Another myth about me is I only go long. Absolute falsehood. Now, don't get me wrong. It's been an amazing bull market for the last 5 years. And as Warren Buffett said, when it's raining gold, bring a bucket, not a thimble. I've been so busy with long opportunities that I haven't had to, really mess around with shorting unless it was right there and obvious. But when we had the Great Recession, in fact, I was, joking or talking about with one of the friends I've been trading for 17 years. When we were going through the Great Recession, one day one of the chicken companies started having, there was rumblings that they were having trouble paying their debt. We started shorting chicken companies, okay? So when the market is in a recession, I have a whole strategy called momentum shorting. But I really haven't had to break that out because for what I do, there's just been so many opportunities. But my strategy works in a bull market, a bear market, and I know I do not only go long, I also short and use option puts as well. Another myth, that I'm a fast scalping day trader. As soon as I mention a stock, I'm just selling all my shares right away into the thing. That is an absolute falsehood. Mainly, the majority of my trades are swing trades. I hold my stocks for quite a long time, sometimes as much as a week to a couple months, depending on the thesis of the swing trade, which I'll talk about. I have chart trades, which are based on chart criteria, but those aren't fast trades either. My third type of trade is a day trade. It's the one I do the least, but I do it if it's there. However, I will never sell a day trade unless there's been adequate time in my mind for the idea to work. I will never initially sell it. In fact, just Friday, I went into a stock, what was it, WGBS, I think. And when I first got in, it went from like high fours to like 530 or something. I didn't sell. Then it got ambushed, and at the end of the day, I took a loss because I am, if it comes down to a trade, I'm only going to take profit if my idea works and it's had adequate time. So that's another falsehood. And then lastly, a biggest myth about me is I write hype articles and hype posts and things like that. I will concede to this. When I was younger and growing up as a trader, I was a little over-enthusiastic at times with my Twitter posts, and I've since then kind of refined my strategy on how I post on social media. But all my articles are really based on my financial CPA type background, where I am using fundamental analysis, linking to SEC filings. Price targets are only put out there if there's a legitimate comparison to make to an identical company in the same industry. I don't even like giving price targets or ranges at all, but I will make valuation comparisons, and that's the extent it goes. And I've since refined my Twitter posting to just not be so. In the past, I think it was a fair challenge to say I posted too much about certain stocks, and I've definitely refined that for those of you that know me. I've verified well over $1 million year to date on Profitly, so it's definitely been an exceptional and a great year, and I'm proud of that. And I want to give you an example of how I find momentum before it happens. There was a stock, HURC. I first bought it on July 1st when it was $28. On July 15th, that's 2 weeks later, HURC filed a 3D print application patent. On July 17th, I wrote an article in TheStreet.com about this application from the patent they filed, just explaining what they said it was, and there were some industry sources that wrote up about this patent. On July 21st, 20 days later, from when I first bought it and talked about it, 28, it hit $37.87. July 31st, I sold, and I sold some on the way up. My average when I completed out of the trade was around 35 from a cost average of around 29.5. I held this stock for 30 days, and I sold it 2 weeks after my article, and I did not sell it at the peak because nobody's perfect, but I do have a strategy in place. But this is an example of finding momentum before it happens. Herc had a blurb in their SEC filing in a more recent one before July 1st, where they talked about potential 3D print applications. So that was an example of finding momentum before it happened. You can see the chart here. Let me see if this thing's working. So you see right here is where I first bought Herc, $28. 21 days later, it went from 28 to 37.87. And I took some profit on the way up along here, and then I finally said here, based on chart rules that I have, that I sold the remaining for an average around 35. I made $454,725 on this trade. Thank you. And know it means a lot to me is that when I left corporate finance, this was my annual salary. So, I'm grateful that I've been able to come to the point where I can make what I used to make in a year for holding one stock 30 days that never went below what I bought it at, and kind of was what I call a stress-free trade, but an example of finding momentum before it happened. Many students verified gains from all different sizes of account on this trade as well. Again, example of finding momentum before it happens. They mentioned 3D printing in the SEC filing. I had seen that. I was anticipating it was on my watch. They had great earnings already, and the future vision was a potential disruptive new product. They filed a patent to it, and at the time, 3D printing was still a very hot sector. So that's a great example of finding momentum before it happens. My students who do verify on Profitly, and they all don't, as you know, have verified well over $1 million in 2014 as well. And that's the most satisfying thing to me, is that I'm seeing my strategy and my rules and my discipline help other people on their goal to become financially independent, which is my absolute goal that I'm driven to right now. I'd like to share a couple success stories. Many of you know I did a one-time only boot camp this year, and it was incredibly successful, and I'm excited to see so many people here from the boot camp. First student I want to share about is a 41-year-old working professional who is now well over, I think he's closer to $325,000, trading part-time in 2014 using my strategy. Dr. Matt, would you please stand up so people can give you a round of applause? So Matt is like me. He has a successful full-time career. He's not day trading. I have 3 types of trades. One of my trades is specifically geared towards not having to be glued to the computer. I call it swing trading. It's what I did throughout my corporate finance career without taking up company time, and I was very successful. And you have an individual who is honestly incredibly driven, hungry. I'm so proud of all 3 or 4 of these people I'm going to talk about, because they're exactly what I look for in a student. Up $300,000 in 2014. My boot camp was, I believe, March, April, May, or March and April. So excellent job, Dr. Matt. Proud of you. Then I'm going to have Matt stand up again. Matt is a 24-year-old Floridian, and he was a boot camp member and subscriber, and he's now well up over $300,000 in 2014. Matt, would you please stand up again? In 2014, the exciting thing about these guys is 2014 is not even over, and what's exciting about them is they're not alert hounds. They're not alert followers. If I buy a stock and I put out an educational buy alert, they'll look at it as an idea and they'll evaluate it. And if it meets their rules and criteria, they'll play it. If not, you know what? They're finding their own stocks. They're finding some stocks before I find them because they've implemented what I've taught in my strategy to perfection, and I'm proud of them. Shanix is not here, but he's a 38-year-old subscriber. He's been with me 1 year in my subscription service. He's now up well over $200,000 in the 1 year he's been with me. There you see him on, what do you call that thing on the hand? Yeah, zip line, whatever. But he's likes to make a lot of money and live dangerously, I guess. But he's a great guy. And there's someone who's not here, but he's a moderator in my chat called Incredible Trades. He's been following me since 2009 on Twitter and everything. And when I started service, he was all over it. And he has been someone who has taken my strategy again and finds his own trades, does his own research. If I come up with an idea, he's not going to chase an alert because he's not about alerts. It's an idea, and if you evaluate the idea and run it through his criteria and it's at an acceptable price, he'll do it, but he'll make his own decision to do it. It's just an idea that popped up, or he's out there researching his own trades. My service that I started in November 2012, again, I have 3 types of trades: day trades, chart trades, swing trades. They all have specific parameters of when to buy, when to sell, and they all have rules to follow to ensure my main goal, to minimize losses, maximize gains. We're not here. If you want to be perfect every trade and you get depressed because you have one loss, this is not the industry for you to be in. Losses are a business expense. They're a part of the business. It's your job to keep them small and to maximize your gains. Again, long and short selling, valuation plays on fundamentals, chart earnings, themes, current events, turnaround situations, reverse splits, low floats. I have my own option strategy, which is very successful. One of my biggest trades of the year was an option trade, but I'm very simple. Buy calls or puts if I use options. I'm not doing spreads and butterflies and all things like that. One of the best part of my Super Pro service, besides the fabulous videos that I'm cranking out, is IPO Tracker. To me, IPOs have been a wealth building industry in and of themselves. If you look at the performance of IPOs over the last 2 to 3 years, and you pull up some of the charts, it's a wealth building sector all to itself. And I always analyzing and providing updates, not only on upcoming IPOs, but tracking IPOs for the last 12 months. Video lessons, premium research. Again, I trade NASDAQ, NYSE, Amex. I rarely trade OTCB and pink sheet stocks. Doesn't mean I never do, but there has to be a very good reason or a very compelling reason. They're wealth builders for many people, and there's great strategies. Tim's strategy, Sykes, Gritani, it's awesome. It's a big universe of stocks out there. I just tend to focus on what I grew up trading, which is NASDAQ and NYSE. Right now, I'm in an OTC stock, and it's, like I said, I will if there's a strong theme. Like I did some of the marijuana. I didn't do marijuana. That came out wrong. I did some of the marijuana stocks when they were on the OTC and raging. I have a chat room, which I love going to every day. I love reporting to work in my chat room every day. Thank you. A couple claps out there. And the best thing about my chat room is, I have a bunch of online friends who have been trading with me for 17 plus years. They're veterans, they're weathered. And we were used to be in chat rooms on the internet, and we would be so frustrating because of the way they weren't moderated. They were moderated poorly. The conduct in there was horrible. It was unstructured. So I said, when I have my chat room, I'm going to do it my way. And I went to a bunch of my veteran friends, and I said, will you please come help moderate my chat, because I'm going to build a chat room the way we always wanted a chat room to be, which is based on ideas, positivity, and helping other people become successful. and running a tight ship, and I'm happy that many of them did. I'd like, Terrence, will you stand up real quick, please, in the back? This is Microcap Trader. He's in the top in the middle, Find Alpha, at Microcap Trader on Twitter. He's been trading with me alongside online 17 years. We have a similar style. He's a great friend. He's a great trader. He's one of my top moderators. Many of you know Rich. He's very talented. He's a scientist, but he's got incredible talent for trading. He likes, he can tend to shift stocks that are, $10, $5 and under, but on the NASDAQ, but he's got a great talent. Mr. Incredible, I talked about him. Tengiz Khan is one of the best short sellers that you've never heard of, but he's been a short seller that's been trading with me for a long time. Casey Printers is more like an OTC expert, and then I have what I call the whale, Andy Gold. This guy has a hedge fund and huge money background, great research, great at finding trends. But the point is, I call us the Justice League traders. It's not just me in my chat room. It's my friends with years and years of experience, and we're running it very professionally. It's fun, it's professional, but it's about generating wealth-building ideas. All right. Now, a lot of you people might want me to come up here and tell you some hot stock picks. Or you might want me to put up some charts or some things I did in years past, talk about earnings winners and things like that. No. I want to talk about character today. Let me ask the question again. How many people have been trading 1 year or less? Please raise your hand. Okay, that's awesome. This lesson is for you as well as I don't care how long you've been trading. This is something that I can't stress enough, and you have to learn this lesson. I'm a tough coach. Those of you who know me personally, I'm very energetic. I like to keep trading fun. I'm a fun guy. I have a fun social life. I'm very ambitious. I'm very benevolent. I like to donate to charities and help people when I can. But when it comes to teaching, I am a tough coach. I want to train leaders. Contrary to popular belief that I just want people to follow me and do what I do and jump in stocks that I'm in, I would rather you don't even follow me if that's all you want to do. I'd rather you not be a part of my service. I'd rather you delete me from Twitter. I want to train leaders, okay? Leaders are the ones that are going to be Dr. Matt and Triforce Trader. They're leaders, and that's what I want. And I want to ask you today, what are you going to be? Are you going to be a follower? Are you here? I like that. Tim, give him $100. But I want to know, and I want you to ask yourself this question today because some of you still don't get it, okay? And you're either going to get this now, and you're going to get this lesson now, and you're going to take it to heart, and you're going to become a successful trader, or you're going to fail. And I say that with 100% positivity. You're either going to make a decision today and get serious about being a leader in stock trades, or you're going to lose all your money and you're going to be out of this game so quick. And I can tell you, there's nothing more devastating than blowing up a stock account. I've done it many times. And it's lonely, it's depressing, it's traumatizing. And I'm here to ask you, are you going to be a success story, or are you going to be the 90%? No hand-holding here. Like when you come into my chat room, or if you come up to me, don't ask me a question that you can look up on your own. No time for it. And know what? I'm training you. That's lazy. If you want me to tell you what price I'm in a stock in when you can look it up yourself, or when a company's reporting earnings, when you can look it up yourself, what does that say about your character? You're not even going to research stocks. You're not even going to go deep enough into a chart or a research. No hand-holding here. Before you try and do things for yourself because it trains your character to be detailed and disciplined enough. I have general, what I call the super doctrine, which are general rules to stock trading that I teach, and I also teach every trade you must have a trade plan. And I'm going to talk about what that is. But you either follow that or you're benched. Don't come whining to me or anybody in chat or anybody in this room because your stock's down or you shorted a stock and it's going against you now because you didn't follow rules and be disciplined. You look in the mirror, you go sit on the bench, like Peyton Manning when he's at halftime, he's flipping through coverages, right, from the last series. What did I do? What could I have done better? Then you shake it off and you get back in the game, but you better, mistakes are going to happen. I don't mind people make mistakes because I make mistakes all the time. What you have to try not to do is make habitual mistakes, the same mistake over and over and over. That's what you have to challenge your character to not do. Everyone's going to make mistakes, and you can make a mistake with me because I make them. But if you're doing the same mistake over and over and over, you need to wake up, and you need to take it serious. It's not a game. This stock trading has changed my life financially. It has allowed me to help family, help friends, travel, do things I want to do. But it also, it can make people fail. But it's all what kind of character you're going to have. I like to call, and if people frustrate me enough in my chat room, I have what I call throwing the headset. And I'll do it. I'll just point an arrow to myself, throws the headset. And they know you better just answer your own question or go read the chat rules. And I wanted to show you a couple of my favorite pictures of throwing the headset. This is a nice front throw, very solid form. This guy needs to realize that he still has it attached to his, I don't know, that could be, this is bad form on throwing a headset. He might throw it and it might whip around him. This could be very dangerous. Don't try this maneuver at home. I only do it on certain times. This is great form. You're definitely going to smash it into pieces. Notice the great grip in the center of the headpiece, and the eyes are focused on the target, the ground. This guy, what I love about this guy is the intensity in his face. Just frustration. But I still think he needs to decide if he's going forward or throwing it down. Form could be better, but I love the intensity of his face. Pete Carroll, even though he wins a Super Bowl, you better follow the rules on his team. You better not be lazy on his team. You better be a leader on his team. He's got great form, eyes on the ground where he wants it to go, a nice curveball type cuff of the headset, about to smash it into pieces. And if you really frustrate me enough, and I'm kind of tired that day, and I'm kind of just at my wit's end, I'll just drag the headset across the field. But the point is, you've got to be a leader. It's like being on a sport team. It's like anybody that is successful is disciplined and works on their character, not just the technical aspects of trading. You need to work on your character. You need to become a leader. So you want to be a super trader. You want to super trade. Do you have what it takes? Studying and learning takes time and work. Someone asked me, how many hours do you study? I don't know, but I like what I do. I love researching stocks. I like looking at charts. And I get up early. I'm Central Time usually, so I'm up at 4 to 5 a.m. when pre-market opens at 7. But hey, if I'm on the West Coast, I'm still up researching before pre-market opens. And I put a lot of time into researching, and I did when I had a full-time job. Does it mean I had to make sacrifices on maybe watching a movie or watching my favorite TV show? Yeah, but guess what? They weren't going to make me financially independent, okay? So it's about, do you have the character to put in the time? And many of you work full-time jobs. I understand you people because I still research and I still put in the time when I had a full-time job. Do you want to go to practice every day? Once I had someone complain to Coach Super saying, oh, your video or what you said, you're just looking at the same chart the whole time and looking at the same metrics. And I was like, are you serious? Are you serious? Let me ask you a question. What do basketball players do when they go to practice? They do the same drills over and over. What do football players do in spring training? If you're a lineman, you're doing the same drills over and over. Any sport, any athlete, you are doing the same thing over and over, but you're getting better at it. You're looking at charts, you're doing research, the same type of research, same charts, and you're looking over your trades, the same thing every day. You don't want, if that's boring to you, then you don't have what it takes, okay? I like it. I love it. I love looking at the same criteria and the same things every day, because you know what? If I go through 20 stocks, one of those could be the next Herc, okay? And I don't know about you, but $154,000 in 30 days is not bad, okay? It takes focus and energy to control the emotions that are bad for trading, okay? I don't know if you understand that yet. There are bad emotions that I'm going to talk about. We all have them. We can all control them. It takes focus to control those emotions, okay? You cannot let emotions run your trading, okay? But it's going to take focus. It's going to take you sitting down and saying, okay, I'm freaking out now, but let me think rationally. Let me think rationally. Let me think logically. What really happened here? Okay, I was stupid, and I didn't use a mental stop loss or a stop loss, and that's why I lost on that trade. Doesn't mean I'm devastated. It means I need to control that emotion. It takes willpower and discipline to follow rules in a trade plan. Listen, I still make mistakes. I still don't follow my rules, and I'm going to show you what happens when I don't. It takes discipline. Okay, I know the temptation when the stock goes by your stop loss. And I know how you start talking to yourself in your head, and you're saying, maybe just 5 more cents. Maybe just 10 more cents. Actually, let me go to a chart, and let me find a new moving average that kind of, and you start putting in like weird moving averages, like 67.2 to justify you missing your stop loss. It takes discipline. It takes character. You want to be a super trader. You want to be a Tim Sykes. You want to be a Grattani. You want to be a Michael Good. These people have controlled. They put in the time, and they focus on the emotions and the discipline that are necessary. New traders. I'm going to tell you this right now, and I've been encouraged by a few. You need to be focusing more on learning at first, not trading, okay? The market's always going to be there. There are always going to be trades. They're not going to be trades for you if you don't learn and you blow up your account and you can't trade anymore. I know the drive, I know the allure to it, that you just want to jump right in there. But why are you going to jump into something that you don't know what you're doing yet? Invest in the time. The teachers that you have can save you years of heartache and teach you valuable lessons to build up your accounts. Too many of you are eager to just trade right away and trade undisciplined. You should be focused more on studying, more on learning, and paper trading. Paper trading there's many sites online where you can trade stocks without using real money and see how you do. I strongly recommend that. People that do that, I commend you as a new student, and you're going to be successful. And when new students do start to trade, they should have small positions, okay? Stock market's not going anywhere, and if it does, we have bigger things to worry about, right? There are always going to be trading opportunities. In bull markets and bear markets, long, short, it's more important that you learn and you get disciplined and you have rules. You want to gamble? Well, you've come to Vegas, okay? If you don't want to learn what you're doing, and if you don't want to be disciplined and follow rules to your trades and have trade plans, head out the door, jump in a cab to a casino, and that's what you should be doing, because you're doing the same thing. If you're going to trade without learning and without discipline, you might as well just go to the casino, okay? You're probably going to have the same outcome. If you want to get rich quick with no work, go buy a lottery ticket every day. But the stock market's not for you. But if you do want to put in the work, if you do want to spend more time learning and being disciplined, that's how you become a super trader. Trade plan on every trade. Here's what I mean by a trade plan. I've analyzed the stock, I've analyzed the setup, whether it be a chart trade, a swing trade, a certain situation. I have an acceptable entry level, so I am not chasing. If a stock's already up a large percentage, I am going to stick to the trade plan. I'm going to be disciplined. I'm not going to chase alerts. I'm not going to chase stocks. If I miss that one, I turn the page and I'll wait for the next one. I have a strict stop loss level that if the trade does not work, I minimize my loss, okay? That's part of my trade plan. Whether you are a day trader, whether you're a swing trader, whether you're a chart trader, you have a level where that's it, okay? That's it, and you hold to that trade plan. That's going to be different based on the type of trade, but you're disciplined. And you have a profit-taking plan if the trade does work. So if a trade does go according to plans, you know how you're going to take profit. Like on Herc, I took profit along the way up, and when it peaked, I started taking a little more, and I had a nice average out of it. But I had a plan above 35 that I was going to start selling shares, and I stuck to it. It takes character to follow a trade plan. Okay, do not fall in love, okay? Not talking about your personal life, but I'm talking about with any one stock. One of my biggest mistakes throughout the years was I would fall in love with one stock. I would take too big of a position in it, and it would usually be disastrous for my portfolio. If you are only thinking about this one stock, you have fallen in love. Head over heels. You might as well put the ticker symbol on your refrigerator in a heart theme. If you are fantasizing about scenarios with this stock, you have fallen deeply in love. And here's what I mean. Wow. When this stock hits 10, I'm going to make X amount of money. If they're a buyout candidate, maybe Monday morning, they're going to get bought out by somebody. They're going to win a contract. Imagine if they win a contract that doubles their revenue. Fantasizing. You've fallen in love. You need to break up. If your position size in any one stock is too big for your account, not only have you fallen in love, but you're stupid. You're stupid and you're in love with a stock. This was my biggest mistake. I can't stress, and I know you do it. I'm looking at you in the eyes. Again, follow rules and trade plan, not people. Contrary to belief, I don't want people following me. I think that's weak and pathetic. If I bring up a stock and an idea that spurs you to research it and come up with your own reason for trading it and your own rules and trade plan, I'm happy to do that. That's my strength, is to generate great ideas. Don't always trade them perfectly, but I get great ideas. If you do not base your decision on whether I'm in a stock or I'm out of a stock or Tim Sykes is in a stock or Grittani or anybody on Twitter, all these gurus on Twitter, when people ask me on Twitter, what's your target? I throw the headset. You know? If this is you right now, and some of you people here or out there in streaming land, that's you right now. You're more concerned with following people and what they say. That is the most flawed logic I've ever heard. Want to know why? Last I checked, there's no trader out there, no matter what they say, that's 100% accurate. And I might be on a hot streak, and I just had 3 monster winners, and my next one's gonna tank like there's no tomorrow. How do you know that's not gonna happen? How do you know that's gonna be the one you follow? Do not follow people on Twitter. If you are basing investment decisions on what others do, don't trade real money. Save your money before it all goes. Most people out there, and I'm glad that Tim has exposed a lot of this, they post on Twitter. They don't post what their price is, what their cost base is. They don't post when they exit a stock or cover a short. They just talk up their book while they're in it. They're not verifying on Profitly. They're not registering their trades on Profitly. Why would you follow people like that? You don't know. You don't even know what they're in the stock at. You don't know when they're selling. Follow rules. Follow discipline. Follow your own trade plan. Here's what a follower is. They just want alerts or hot stock tips. And they don't even want to research them. They just want to know what's Superman trading this week. What's Sykes going to short this week? They don't even want to research. They want a hot stock tip. They're lazy and they do not do detailed research or try and find their own ideas. Try and find their own stocks. They need to know what others think about a stock to be secure in their investment decision. Well, if Superman's still in this stock, even though we're 50% underwater, it must be okay. No, not at all. Followers are constantly asking, what are your thoughts on stock XYZ? Are you still in this stock? What do you think this stock will do tomorrow? I call those crystal ball questions. If I knew the answer to that, no offense, I wouldn't be up here speaking. I would be a multi-zillionaire because I can predict what stocks do exactly every day. No one can tell you that. Who cares that you ask somebody on Twitter in a chat room what a stock's going to do, and they're like, I think it's going to go to 10 to 12. Who cares? It's a guess. That's all it is a guess. Question is, what do you think the stock has potential to do based on your trade plan, and what's your level that you're going to minimize your loss if the stock doesn't work? A leader evaluates ideas from others, but applies their own research and their own investment trade plans if they make a trade. A leader finds their own ideas. They're not just waiting for other people to generate ideas. They're out researching and finding their own stocks. A leader has their own reason for buying or shorting a stock. A leader has a trade plan personally for each position, stop loss area and profit plan. A leader follows rules and discipline and does not follow people. I want to train leaders, not followers. And I'm going to ask you again, what are you going to be? Leader. Yes, right. What are you going to be? Leader. I like it. Tim, give that guy another 100. I'm spending all Tim's money out here. In fact, hundreds for everybody, Tim. Oh, sorry. Yeah. No. Just joking. I'm joking. I'm not trying to spend Tim's money. Okay, I'm going to move on. I think you get the point. You need to be a leader, not a follower. I also want to talk about not being a person of extremes. And I appreciate what Tim Grattani talked about where, you need to find what's right for you. And that may be shorting. That may be only shorting certain types of setups. That may day trading, swing trading, blah, 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 etc. That's all good. You don't have to. You can do whatever works for you. You should find that out. You can piece together strategies from multiple people. But people that only short stocks miss profits, okay? Every stock that goes up, especially on the listed exchanges, NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange, I have news for you. Every stock that goes up is not a pump and dump, okay? I can't stand when that's the only mentality. Everything's a pump and dump. Every stock that goes up a pump and dump. Oh, that must be pumped. That must be pumped. No, actually, bro, they just reported earnings 100% above consensus estimate and told us that they're raising guidance for next year, making their PE ratio incredibly undervalued to all other companies in the sector, okay? Every stock that goes up is not a pump and dump. People that only go long miss profits. Every stock that goes up is not always legitimate. There are pumps and dumps. There are frauds. My point is, don't be a person of extreme. Don't be so simple and narrow-minded. I can't stand people that everything's a pump and dump or everything's going to the moon. I am a man who avoids extremes. You know what? If we get in a bear market, I'll start doing momentum shorting. But I'm not going to limit myself because I'm so simple-minded that I can only think long or short. Follow the money flow. Sometimes you can make money long and short the same stock, but don't limit yourself by being an extremist and taking one side or the other. Control your emotions. Fear, greed, depression, and arrogance. Okay? Fear. I'm afraid because I had a loss. I'm afraid I can't move, I can't pay for trade. I'm afraid what's going to happen. If I don't chase that stock, I'm afraid it's going to go to 50. Just, you're a mess. I'm emotional. Greed. I'm up 3,000 on this trade, but imagine if it goes to 7. I'll be up 4,000 or 5,000. Can get that watch, can do this, can do that. Greed. What's your trading plan? Depression. Yeah, we've all made mistakes. We all had devastating trades, but you've got to think logically. What happened? What went wrong? What are you going to do to avoid a habitual mistake? And arrogance. I'm on fire. I'm the best guru that ever lived. I'm the next Warren Buffett. Listen, I have a saying, and it's probably not my original saying, you're one trade away from humility. You get arrogant, and the stock market can humble you real fast. All of these emotions, you got to control them. They're all wrong, okay? And hope is not a stock strategy. Yeah, I'm underwater in that short, but I hope the FBI raids them tomorrow and the stock goes to zero. Yeah, I know I'm underwater in that long position, but I hope that General Electric buys them out, even though they're a biotech company and General Electric doesn't do that. Hope is not a strategy, okay? Structure, discipline, and rules. Minimizing losses, maximizing gains. This, controlling your emotions, is just as important as any technical, any financial, or fundamental research. Okay, I want to talk about swing trading, and I'm getting into the end of the presentation. Swing trading is kind of the antithesis, to some degree, of Tim Grittani's very successful strategy. Which one's right or better? They both work. The best part and why I love the Profitly family is all of our strategies work, and they're not mutually exclusive. There's things you can learn from all of them, okay? But if you want to be a swing trader, and to me a swing trade is based on a thesis that's supported by some fundamental or qualitative reason that a stock, if the trade works out, will go to this range based on this criteria. And if it doesn't work out, I'm going to cut the trade at this level because that's my acceptable, tolerable level of risk. And a swing trade for me can take anywhere from a week to a few months. But it's some of my most successful trades. I don't have to watch level 2. I don't have to be glued to the screen. I don't even have to be at the screen all day, but I have to have access and check on quotes and what's going on. So this is the successful strategy that I was able to supplement my income while still excelling at a full-time job. But you've got to do detailed research. Swing trading is not for the lazy. If you just want to read a headline and you don't want to get into the details of a stock, this is not for you. You have to read SEC filings. You have to dig down deep into what's going on with the company. Look at their accounting statements, financial ratios, sector analysis, future forecasts, and be disciplined to follow that straight trade plan. If the thesis changes on a swing trade, then that may mean I'm out. The thesis doesn't work anymore. These are some of my most successful and financially rewarding trades I make every year. And the ones that work are usually pretty stress-free. But the ones that don't, and if I follow my rules, I cut my losses off. But I don't need to be tied to the computer, and I don't need to be watching every tick by tick. But I have to have a discipline level to get out and minimize loss if the trade doesn't work. To summarize, you got to be researching constantly if you want to be a super trader. News, charts, fundamentals. Get up early. You have to put in the time. Have a disciplined set of rules and trade plan that are strictly followed, as I've talked to exhaustively today. You have to learn from your winners as well as your mistakes. There's lessons to be found in both. And don't whine when you lose. I can't stand whiners. And don't get overconfident and arrogant when you win. When I don't follow my rules, my biggest loss of the year is $68,922. I ignored my stop loss, and I just had a lot of hope. Because I was up at one point 30 grand on this trade. Then I had a lot of hope that their cancer cure that was mentioned in an article was going to keep coming back up. I fell in love with Z-Pin. It didn't love me back, though, did it? That's not my kind of relationship where I lose 58 grand on it at the end of the day. Z-Pin didn't love me back. It didn't do what I think. It still may work, but stopped out. VRNS. Ignored my stop loss. Horrible execution. And this is my negative contribution to the marijuana stocks, was my $28,000 loss on SXLP when I was up and I was too greedy and I didn't take partial profits. And this is what happens when I don't follow my rules. Great ideas. Every one of these stocks at one point went up quite a bit above when I first bought it or mentioned it. I just wasn't disciplined. I just didn't follow my rules. And this is what happens. Now the good news is that I'm up well over verified million. Thank you. And minimize losses, not all the time, maximize gains, but in the relevance of my portfolio, I'm up net over a million verified. One of my best trades was an option trade, but it was based on research on a $60 stock, extensive swing trade type research. And that was pretty recent, $271,000 trade this year. Herc, we talked about, 155. IGC was my contribution to the NASDAQ marijuana trade, which this was the only NASDAQ company at the time that started talking about marijuana. It was like 80 cents or 90, and they telegraphed basically that they're going to stop talking about marijuana. So it was a theme trade. Heart, I did a lot of research on this one. It was at a time when this sector, this particular part of regenerative medicine was hot. I called it, I think it's 7, ended up hitting 12, $77,000. This was a stock, 95 grand. It was on Paris, a Paris exchange, which I was able to trade easily through Interactive Brokers, but it was a 3D printing stock at the beginning of the year where they bought a very hot, 3D printing company. It's a legitimate Paris company. And then finally, this is one of my earnings winners, which I'm most proud of, WLDN. Swing trade, do not chase. One of the best reports of the season, in my opinion. They did 25 cents EPS and strong comments going forward. Personal stop loss, low 8s. And personal target, 10 to 12 plus if it works. Exit comments, super trade. Like a 70K trade, we'll come back to this when and if the chart heals. But that's based on research and following my rules and executing and being disciplined. And that's an example of success. And that's it. Thank you.
Hey, Paul.
Yeah.
We have some questions for you on the
Okay.
the app. So let's do some Q&A. You can bring that up, Ben.
Let's have a round for Ben. How about Ben? All right, Superman. Yeah, if you ask a question, I'd appreciate if you put Superman, Super Paul, whatever. Superman, how long is your boot camp? How much does it cost? I have a very special announcement to make tomorrow, and I'm excited about it. Question for Superman. How did you find Herc SEC filing mentioned 3D printing? Herc is a stock that I've had on my watch list for a long time. I will go and look at, there's certain sections of the SEC filing that I'll skim for the gems and the nuggets, and that particular section, which I teach, which one of the best ones is the MD&A section, and that's where I found that. For Superman, in a changing market environment, how do you test for the applicability of certain setups and chart patterns? My chart rules are unique to me, and momentum charting, both long and short. So no matter what the market is, the charts are telling me, what I want to know to create a trade plan. So again, you have to be cognizant. What you have to be cognizant in this day and age is what you saw last week. Market could be raging, and then one news item, macro globally, comes out, and the market tanks. So you've got to be prepared, and you've got to trade that the market could crash tomorrow or the market could open up 300 points every day. That's the environment we're in. And you protect yourself by not having oversized positions and being disciplined with your trade rules and your trade plan. Okay, there we go. Do you ever have swing trades that turn into day trades or vice versa? That's a good question. Yes. A day trade, sometimes if a day trade turns into a swing trade, it better be for a good reason and not because I wasn't disciplined and didn't have a stop loss. But for it to turn into a swing is something about the story has to keep getting better during the day, or a certain theme is going to keep growing. Lately everyone's been trying, right, wrong, or indifferent, to find infectious disease stocks and ways to prevent and treat them. and that's a theme that was growing throughout the day. That could turn into a swing, but it's got to have a trade plan still. And a swing trade, if I start out as a swing trade, for it to turn into a day trade, it had to work right away to my target range. Like if WLDN had gone to 10 to 12 right away, and it's at the end of the day, it's like, okay, that was easy. I might leave a little on the table to see if it goes up, but that's an example. All right. Superman, how many trades are you executing on average per week, month? I don't know. I mean, it varies. I'm pretty active. I can tell you that. I mean, I don't have a goal how many. I take what the market gives me. So I'm active. I'm active with, if whatever's there. If there's 20 trades a week and they fit my criteria, I'm going to do them. If there's 2, then I'm not going to force trades. So it really depends. I refuse to tie myself down for any one or any reason on how many times I'm going to trade, but I'm an active trader. I can tell you that. The market presents. Superman, what stock should I buy on Monday? Give me a headset right now. Who asked that? Give me a headset. I'm gonna go, this is Sparta, and kick this podium over. Are you still driving your Maserati, or did I get a newer car? I'm still driving my Maserati. It's a 4-door. I'm a divorced dad. I have 2 daughters, so I want to be able to, not make my daughter sit in a car that really doesn't have back seats. I don't think that would be too loving of a father situation. Yeah, but Dad, there's no room here. Yeah, but it's a cool car, right? But I actually like it. I mean, I'm not a huge car guy, but I like it. It's fast. It's fun. It has Superman red interior. Where do I do my research? Everywhere. I'm constantly looking through. I love Yahoo Finance. I'm old school. I love Googling and researching technologies and trends before they happen. I love the Drudge Report because a lot of times there are headlines there about new technologies amongst other things that are on there. And I'm just constantly researching stocks, patterns, Googling, reading. Current events are awesome. I mean, current events, current technologies. How do I keep track of the stocks? I plan to revisit it. If the chart heals, I either keep them up on one of my streamers, in one of my brokers, which I'm telling you what brokers I use. It's not a recommendation. I use Ameritrade from the Daytech days, old school, and I use Interactive Brokers. Personally, that's just what I use, but you can have multiple pages of quotes and streamers, and I'll leave them on there. And I'm old school. Like I have one Thunderbolt display, big Apple display at home, and if I'm traveling, I just go on the laptop. I just don't like getting distracted, and I just have my own method. I'm just fast at what I do. I probably could be faster, but I'm not saying that's, I'm just not up here telling you I have 50 screens and, they're virtually moving all across the room or something like that. Okay, a few more questions, then I'm gonna cut it out. Superman, important advice for someone starting out with a small account. Go over this lesson. Because this whole lesson was for, new people as well as experienced, but focus on learning more than you are on trading. Paper trade, small positions, research, discipline. If you learn that, if you get that down in the beginning, then you're like the 10%. Because the 90% that fail I took my student loan money, I'm putting it in a marijuana penny stock, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't even know how to trade stock. Focus on what I talked about. That is what you should. Okay. Do I place hard stops? I'm always around a computer, so I use mental stops. If I'm not away from a computer, I would consider using hard stops. I think you work what's right for you, but you need to be aware of stop losses, what they are, and how to use them. I'm not going to answer this trade. What's my percentage of swing trades, day trades? I'd say it depends, whatever the market gives me. If the market gives me a lot of day trades that week, fine. I think if I had to say, the majority would be I'd do more swing trades, moderate amount of chart, and day trades depending on what's there. But I do all 3, and every week I usually do at least one if it's there. All right. Comments on the BABA IPO. Yeah, I think you watched, you watched the chart right now, and I have a specific chart parameter on what to watch on the BABA IPO, and I am watching it for a certain level to see how it performs. Okay. Last question. Are there any sectors that you do not like to participate in more than others for one reason or another? I don't know. I don't like boring sectors. I mean, to me, the shipping stocks, I just can't ever, that kind of, for some reason, has always been boring to me. Insurance and some banking stocks, that's kind of boring to me. I don't see a lot of movement. So other than that, I'm pretty open to everything. So thank you very much. I appreciate you being here.